The church doors slammed shut behind her. Not gently, not by accident. They shut like a lid on a coffin. Rebecca Hale stood alone at the altar in Dry Creek, Montana. 18 years old, white lace sleeves trembling around her thin wrists. Her father's Bible still open in his shaking hands. Across from her stood Silas Crow, 40, maybe more. A rancher with land that swallowed 3 valleys and a stare that never blinked. The air inside the church was thick with heat and dust. No rain in 5 months. The town had dried into something brittle. Even the wood groaned. "And do you take this man?" Her father's voice cracked. Rebecca did not look at Silas. She looked at the cross behind her father's head. She saw the purse of coins sitting on the pulpit. She saw her mother's hollow face in the front pew, and she felt Silas's thumb press hard into the back of her hand. Too hard. "I do." The words scraped out of her throat. Silas slid a thick gold ring onto her finger. It swallowed her knuckle. The town watched. No one spoke. The walk to his ranch felt longer than any road she had ever known. He made her walk beside him. Her wedding dress dragged through red dirt. He did not offer his arm. He held her elbow, firm, possessive. The ranch house stood alone at the edge of the valley, big, silent, windows dark as empty eyes. Inside, the air smelled like leather, old tobacco, and something sour beneath it. A hired girl glanced at Rebecca once, then lowered her eyes and disappeared. Upstairs, Silas did not raise his voice. He didn't need to. Rebecca climbed. Each step felt like stepping deeper underground. The bedroom door shut behind them. The lock turned. Slow, Silas poured whiskey into a glass and drank it in one swallow. He did not look at her. He walked to the wall, hung there. A thick leather belt, oiled, coiled, heavy. Rebecca's breath shortened. Her fingers found the buttons at the back of her dress. They would not move. "Slow," Silas said. He sat on the bed. The ropes beneath the mattress creaked under his weight. "I want to see." Her hands shook so badly, she could not feel the pearls beneath her fingertips. She turned her back to him. A small act. Useless. Her eyes searched the room, anywhere but him. That was when she saw it. The nightstand drawer sat half open. Metal glinted inside. She stepped closer. Pretended to smooth the quilt. She nudged the drawer. Handcuffs. Cold iron. The belt, the cuffs, the silence in the house. Her stomach folded in on itself. Silas stood, boots against wood. "Take it off." His shadow fell over her. Something inside her snapped. Not a scream. Not tears. A decision. She grabbed the ceramic water pitcher from the washstand and threw it. It shattered against the wall. He swore. That 1 second was enough. She lunged for the window. It faced the back of the house, open fields beyond. She drove the wooden chair through the glass. Cold air exploded into the room. Silas roared. She climbed through broken glass, felt it slice her arms, did not stop. She hit the dirt below and rolled. Got up, ran. White dress blazing in the moonlight. "Get the horses!" His voice carried across the yard. Dogs barked. Lanterns flared. Rebecca tore at her skirt, ripping fabric away so she could move. Bare feet tore open on rock and shale. She did not look back. She ran into the canyon, dark, cold, wind cutting through lace. Hooves thundered somewhere behind her. Men shouting. She scrambled up rock, slipped, fell into a dry wash, lay there, breathing hard. Moon sliding behind cloud. Voices passed above her. She pressed her body into mesquite thorns. They rode past, did not see her. When the sound faded, she moved again. Up, higher, colder. The canyon turned to ridge. The ridge turned to stone. Her breath came in sharp bursts. Her vision blurred. The wind hit her full. She stumbled, fell, tried to rise. Her legs would not answer. She curled on frozen ground, dress torn, skin bleeding. Eyes closing, it would be warmer soon. Caleb Mercer hated towns. He traded furs in Dry Creek when he had to. He never stayed. That morning he was tracking mule deer along Bear Ridge. His gray horse, Ranger, stopped, first snorted, ears forward. Caleb's hand went to his rifle. He scanned the rocks. Nothing then. White. A patch against dark earth. Not snow, he dismounted slowly. Boots crunching frost. 10 feet away he stopped. A woman, bare feet. Wedding dress shredded. Skin blue at the lips. He stepped back. This was trouble. A dead bride on a mountain got a man hanged. He should leave. Ranger shifted. The woman made a sound, soft, broken. Caleb swore under his breath. He knelt, pressed 2 fingers to her neck. Faint pulse. Ice-cold skin. He slid his arms under her. She weighed nothing. He lifted her to the saddle, mounted behind, held her against his chest. She burned under the frost, fever. He turned Ranger toward his trapping cabin. Wind rising, clouds rolling in, snow beginning to fall. As he rode, she stirred. Her lips moved. No belt. Her hand clenched at his coat. Caleb tightened his hold. Easy, he muttered. But his eyes were scanning the ridge. Because if a bride was running barefoot into the mountains, someone would be coming after her. And the storm behind them was not the only thing closing in. Snow swallowed the cabin before nightfall. Wind slammed against the logs like a fist. Caleb kicked the door shut behind him and carried Rebecca straight to the narrow rope bed near the stone hearth. The room was dark, cold. He laid her down and moved fast. Fire first. Dry pine caught. Flames climbed. Light filled the small space in flickers of gold. He knelt beside her. Her lips were blue, her hands stiff. He pulled off his coat and wrapped it around her shoulders. "Stay with me," he said. Her eyes fluttered open, wild, unfocused. She jerked away from his touch. "No, don't. I'll take it. Just don't use it." Her fingers clawed at the blankets. Caleb froze. His jaw tightened. "There's no one here," he said, voice low and steady. "Just me." She stared at him. Did not see him, saw someone else. Her body shook hard enough to rattle the bed ropes. He grabbed the kettle from the hook, filled it with snow, and set it on the fire. Then he worked at her feet, slow, careful, washing blood from torn skin. Glass shards slid free from her arms. She hissed when warm cloth touched her wounds. He did not look at her face. He focused on the work. "Breathe," he muttered. Her gaze finally steadied. Gray eyes, sharp beneath fever. "Where am I?" she whispered. "Bear Ridge." She swallowed. The word seemed to hit her like a blow. Her hand flew to her ring finger. The gold band still there, too large. She yanked it off and flung it across the cabin. It struck the wall and dropped into shadow. Caleb glanced at it once, said nothing. He wrapped her feet in clean cloth, pulled heavy wool blankets over her. She shivered. Then she stilled. Outside, the wind rose. Snow hit the window in sheets. The world disappeared. By morning, the door would not open. They were sealed in. Rebecca woke to the smell of coffee and smoke. She did not move at first. She listened. Metal scraping, knife on whetstone, slow, steady. She opened her eyes. Caleb sat at the small table, back to her, sharpening his blade. He did not look over his shoulder. "You're alive," he said. Her throat tightened. She pushed herself upright. Pain shot through her feet. She bit it back. "How long?" "2 days." She looked at the door. White light bled around the frame. "It's snowing. Been snowing." He stood and handed her a tin cup.
"Drink."
She hesitated. His eyes met hers, calm, clear. Not hungry, not demanding. She took the cup. Her hands trembled, he noticed. Said nothing. After she drank, she studied him. Tall, broad shoulders. Dark hair tied at the nape of his neck. A scar ran from his ear down toward his collar. He looked like a man carved from rough timber. "Did you?" She stopped. He waited. Her cheeks burned. "Did you touch me?" His jaw flexed once. "I cleaned your cuts." Nothing else. She held his gaze, searching. He did not blink. She looked away first. Days blurred. Storm howled. Cabin creaked. They moved around each other like cautious animals. He slept on the floor near the fire, rifle within reach. She watched him in the quiet, watched the way he moved, efficient, measured. He never came closer than needed, never reached without warning. On the fourth morning, the storm broke. Silence pressed in. Rebecca stood for the first time without help. Her legs shook. She gripped the edge of the table. Caleb was by the door, watching her, not stepping forward. "You can sit," he said. "I can stand." Her voice held steel. He gave a short nod. Later she found a broom, swept the floor. He did not stop her. She found flour in a sack, made flatbread on the hearth. When he came in from checking the horse, he paused, smelled it. "It's good," he said after one bite. She turned her face away so he would not see the heat rise there. That night he spoke without looking at her. "Pass will clear in a week." Her hand stilled over the stew pot. "I'll take you back to town." The spoon slipped from her fingers, clattered. "No." He looked up. "You belong there." "I don't." "You ran from something." She swallowed, her chest tightened. "He'll kill me." Caleb's eyes sharpened. "Who?" Silence stretched. Wind tapped against the cabin. "My husband." The word sounded like poison. Caleb did not move. "How many men came after you?" "3, maybe more." His jaw set. "You tell the law?" She laughed once. "Dry. There is no law for me." He studied her face, the bruises, the torn lace she still wore beneath his spare shirt. He knew the name Crow. Everyone did. A rancher who broke horses until they bled. Rebecca stepped closer to the fire. Her hands hovered over the flames. "I won't go back." Caleb leaned against the wall. "This cabin isn't forever. I don't need forever." Her eyes lifted to his. "I need tonight." The air shifted. He felt it. The weight of her words. She walked toward him, stopped just out of reach. "You're bigger than him," she said quietly. He stiffened. "But you didn't reach for me." Her fingers brushed the back of his hand. Heat shot up his arm. "You scare me," she whispered. His breath hitched. "Good," he said. Her head tilted. "Why?" "Because I scare myself." The fire popped. Outside, snow slid from the roof in a heavy thud. Rebecca did not pull her hand away. "If I stay," she said, voice steady, "it will be my choice." Caleb's gaze darkened. "You don't know what you're choosing." She stepped closer, close enough to feel the warmth of his body. "I do." His hand curled slowly around hers, not gripping, not claiming, just holding. And outside the cabin, hoofprints buried under snow began to harden, waiting for sun, waiting for men who would come looking. The sun broke the snow 2 days later, and with it came tracks. Caleb saw them first. 3 horses cutting across the lower ridge. Fresh, not buried, not lost. He did not speak at once. He just watched. Then he turned toward the cabin. Rebecca was outside, shaking frost from a wool blanket. She saw his face, the way his shoulders went still. "What is it?" "Company." Her fingers tightened on the fabric. "How many?" "3." Her breath thinned. "They found us." He nodded once. No panic, no rush, just calculation. "Pack light," he said. "We can outrun them." He looked at her feet, still bandaged. He shook his head. "No, not on this ground." She stepped closer. "What do we do?" He met her eyes. "We stop running." Wind moved through the pines. Hooves echoed closer now. Rebecca walked into the cabin, came back out with the rifle he had taught her to hold. Her hands did not shake. "You said it's a tool." He stared at her for a long second. Then he reached for his own rifle. 3 riders crested the ridge. Silas Crow at the front, dark coat, wide hat. Mouth twisted in a smile that never reached his eyes. He pulled his horse to a slow walk as he approached the clearing. "Well," he called out, "there she is." Rebecca stood beside Caleb, not behind him, beside. Silas' gaze moved over her, up, down. "You look cold, Rebecca." She did not answer. His eyes shifted to Caleb. "And you," a small laugh. "You've stolen something that belongs to me." Caleb's jaw flexed. "She's not a horse." Silas smiled wider. "Law says she is." Rebecca stepped forward, her voice cut clean through the air. "I am not your property." Silas' smile faltered for half a breath. You ran, he said softly. You broke glass. You embarrassed me. He looked at Caleb. You know what I do to men who embarrass me. Caleb lifted his rifle slightly. You can turn around. Silas's men shifted in their saddles, hands near guns. You think you'll win? Silas asked. Caleb didn't answer. Rebecca raised the rifle, aimed, not at Silas, at the snow just ahead of his horse. She fired. The shot cracked like lightning. The horse reared. Silas fought the reins. His men cursed. Smoke drifted from the barrel in her hands. She did not lower it. I will not go back, she said. Her voice did not waver. Scylla's face darkened. You think this mountain man can protect you? She took one step closer to Caleb. I chose him. The word hit harder than the bullet had. Silas stared at her, then at Caleb. Understanding moved across his face. Not rage, calculation. You've ruined yourself, he said quietly. No preacher will touch you now. Rebecca's lips curved. I don't need one. Silas laughed once. Short, ugly. You'll starve up here, Caleb spoke then. We won't. Silas looked at the rifle in Rebecca's hands, at the way she stood, at the way Caleb did not hide her. Snow slid from the roof of the cabin in a heavy crash. The sound echoed across the ridge. Silas pulled his horse back a half step. This isn't finished, he said. Caleb's voice stayed calm. It is for today. Silas held Rebecca's gaze, long searching for doubt, finding none. He spat into the snow, turned his horse. His men followed. Hooves faded down the ridge. Rebecca did not move, not until the last sound disappeared. Then her knees gave. Caleb caught her before she hit the ground. Her breath came hard, sharp. I thought I'd shake, she whispered. You didn't. She looked up at him. Snowlight caught in his eyes. You didn't hide me. He shook his head. I never will. Silence stretched between them. Different now. Not tension, not fear. Something steadier. Rebecca pulled the gold ring from her pocket, the one she had thrown. She walked to the edge of the ridge, looked out across the valley. Then she hurled it as far as she could. It flashed once in the sun, then disappeared. She turned back to him. Wind tugged at her hair. You said this cabin isn't forever, he nodded. It can be. He stepped closer. Slow, careful. If you stay. Her fingers curled into the front of his shirt. I'm not staying because I have nowhere else. His breath brushed her cheek. Why then? Because I want to. The words hung there, clear, unforced. He searched her face for fear, for doubt, found neither. He reached up, brushed snow from her hair. His hand slid to the side of her neck. Warm, steady. You're too small for this life, he murmured. She smiled. You're too big for it. His brow lifted slightly. But I'll take it. The corner of his mouth moved. Not quite a smile, not quite restraint. He pulled her against him. Not crushing, not claiming, holding. The wind moved around them. The ridge stood quiet. Below, the tracks of Silas Crow faded under drifting snow. Rebecca pressed her forehead to Caleb's chest. His heart beat steady beneath her ear. I'm not running anymore, she said. Good. His voice was low. Certain. Neither am I. Smoke rose from the chimney, thin, straight, and for the first time, the mountain did not feel like hiding. It felt like home. Before we go inside, Rebecca said softly. He looked down at her. What? If I ever tell you to stop, I will. If I ever say no, I will, she nodded.